Well, ladies and gentlemen, I guarantee you are in for a treat. Once again, my name is Tasha M. Dyer, and I am your host for this evening's call. Now, I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that tonight this call is going to be powerful. I want to make sure that you take copious notes because the gentleman that I am actually about to introduce to you, the gentleman that is actually about to share this information with you, he's going to have a conversation, but he is powerful. When I talk about powerful, I'm talking about someone who just has a heartbeat for people. He is actually the founder of the movement that is having impact worldwide. We are talking about 2 million families strong. He is the visionary. He is also has a background in mortgage lending, investment banking, but also, ladies and gentlemen, he is a published author. He is a business success coach. He is a mentor. He is in ministry. But ladies and gentlemen, he is my personal coach and mentor. So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to move out of your way because I'm going to turn this call over to none other than Mr. Gerald D. Rogers. Mr. Rogers, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can, and this call is officially yours.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dyer, for taking time out of your schedule to greet our amazing guest. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know if you are a guest on the line, here's what I want you to do and understand that the individual that invited you out, they simply care deeply for you. That's why they are taking the time to expose you to this amazing information. So here's what I need you to do immediately following this call. I need you to reach out to that individual and just simply tell them thank you. Because they're not trying to get you to do anything. They are just delighted to be able to expose you to some information that is changing their lives in so many forms and fast. But before I dive in, I would be absolutely remiss if I did not help you really understand and appreciate who you had the opportunity to be greeted by, Ms. Tasha M. Dyer. Now, she's a retired major from the United States Army, MBA recipient, licensed financial advisor, and she also is the creator of a strategy called the BYOB cash out strategy, which you'll get an opportunity to hear about here briefly. But not only that, I mean, heartbeat as big as the globe. She's helping so many individuals. And if you ever get an opportunity to listen to her, and if you do exactly what she asks you to do, here's what I know to be true. You're going to find yourself in a position where you and your family will definitely be on the right side of money or on the other side of money. So thank you, Ms. Dyer, for what you do for this movement, the many lives that you're impacting around the globe. And we're just absolutely grateful that we've had the opportunity to partner up with you. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to dive into here real quickly. I'm not going to be before you long, and I'm going to share my story with you. But here's what I need you to really understand. This information that I'm sharing with you, it's really not about me, and it's absolutely not about the individual that invited you out. But we've discovered something that simply has been hidden in plain sight. So for many of you, you should have already had the opportunity to be exposed to some information via our mobile app, which kind of gives you a backdrop so you're not coming into this environment without any reference point at all. And systematically, you'll get an opportunity to really appreciate this. But many of us, as you hear my story, it's going to sound exactly similar to what many of us were taught from our households growing up. Because in order for us to be successful, I'm sure our parents pretty much shared with us the same type of information. They said, if you want to be successful, you need to stay in school. And after completing school, many of us had three options. One would be to attend college, secondly, to join the military, or thirdly, to get into the workforce immediately. Now, for me personally, I thought my initial path to financial success was to become a professional athlete. I actually excelled extremely well in high school athletics, and I was fortunate enough to take those credentials onto the campus of Florida A&M University, where I competed at collegiately at a very high level. And upon the ending of my collegiate career, I personally had the opportunity to have some NFL free agent tryouts with the Carolina Panthers, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Toronto Argonauts. And at that time, the Canadian Football League was actually attempting to make a presence in the continental United States with the Birmingham Barracudas. However, ladies and gentlemen, the name Gerald D. Rogers never appeared on any professional roster. And for a moment, I went through a season of depression and just through trials and tribulations, attempting to understand how to really navigate and put my family on the other side of money. And that's really the conversation that you should have been approached with initially. So here's what I'm going to reiterate. Let me ask you a question. Have you personally ever considered what it would feel like to put you and your family on the other side of money? I want you to let that sink in, and I want you to let that simmer for a second, because I'm going to answer that question for each and every one of you in the affirmative with a definitive yes. And then let me ask you another question. And why do I ask you that question? Well, I want to ask you another question. Are you personally ready to accept the challenge to learn how to be your own bank? Well, I'm going to answer that for you again in the definitive affirmative yes. So why do you ask that question, Mr. Rogers? Well, let me tell you why I asked that question. Ask yourself this question. And I want you to make this very personal. Over the last 5 to 10 years, out of all the money that has flowed through your personal bank account, how much has your bank paid you for using your own money? Yes, I'll wait, but I already know the answer to that question. There's only two answers that you could possibly come up with: nothing or little to nothing. And then how does that make you feel? Whether you understand this information, whether you appreciate it, you could be even the most skeptical person in the universe, or you could even think that this information is a scam. And when people use the word scam, it simply means that they're still confused about money. Now, how does that make you feel, knowing that your financial institution will continue to use your money the way they choose to, and you're not getting the maximum benefit of your own money? Let that sink in and pause and let that simmer for a second. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We have a solution to everyone under the sound of my voice, because I know you have a desire on some level to ensure that your money is expanding. So my question to you tonight is simply this. If you could learn a skill set that teaches you how to do exactly what the banks do with your money, I just need to know, would you personally take advantage of it? And obviously, for those of you listening to me right now, you're absolutely too intelligent to say no to that inquiry. So guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Here is why the Be Your Own Bank movement is what it is. Now, what is the Be Your Own Bank movement? Well, it's simple. It's a philosophy. It's a crusade. And we've had the fortune and the privilege of being able to take this message around the globe. Yes, currently 15 countries on 4 different continents. So yes, it's evolving. And our mission and purpose is very simple: 2 million families financially educated and impacted. So once again, the Be Your Own Bank movement is a philosophy, understanding that empowered people, guess what they do? They empower other people. So we've been able to connect with a platform that allows us to facilitate this information. And that platform is IM.Academy. And it's really learning simplified, mastering the markets, and knowing how to build real wealth and real freedom. Now, here's what I know for everyone listening to me this evening. I don't know what real wealth and freedom looks like for you, but what I do know is you personally deserve access to the information. And that's the purpose and the power behind this crusade. Because ask yourself this question: no matter who you are around the globe, no matter how many times we share this information, those of you listening, you fall in one of these 4 categories. 35% of you work for yourself, 6% of you work for someone else, 4% of you are business owners, and 1% of you are investors. So let me put some context to this amazing statistic. This simply states that 95% of the population around the globe always has, and listen to this operative word, fight for 5% of the wealth. Now, the converse of this is 5% of the population around the globe always has or always will control 5% of the wealth, 95% of the wealth. Now, that should elicit a thought in your mind, because we were all taught education is paramount, education is important, and that's the grand equalizer to achieving financial success. But then here I submit to you tonight a different thought process. Is it really education, or most importantly, is it what we're being educated upon specifically when it comes to our finances? So guess what, ladies and gentlemen? What if there was another way? What if things could be different for you personally? Because you have to ask yourself the question, based on the current vehicle that you're utilizing to achieve your financial dreams and success, has it gotten you closer to your financial destiny, or does it seem like it's further away as long as you've been doing it? Let that sink in for a second. Now, guess what? how do you talk to yourself when it comes to finances? Because we literally become what we think about. So are you that person that is always concerned about not having and you're concerned about what's out of your reach? Or are you that abundant thinker, which is housed in your DNA? So when you change your thought process, you begin to change the behaviors, you change your activities, and you change the results. So our story is simple. We empower people with information that has been hidden in plain sight far too long. So guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You now have the opportunity to connect with a vehicle that's going to accelerate that learning process and now put you in a position where the dreams and the hopes that you've always dreamt of, you're now going to be in a position where you can fund and finance them and do no longer have to ask permission to be who you were already created to be. Now, our story is simple. We help people build better lives. And if we're honest with ourselves, money dictates a lot of our realities. And hear me well, money's not everything, but it's surely up there next to oxygen, okay? Now, our story is simple. We give meaning and purpose. And this is why so many people who've connected to the Be Your Own Bank movement, they see success because guess what? That's our story. And we believe that real change begins with positive self-talk and thinking, and that finding success starts within. So really, I want you to understand, you must be willing to unlearn some behaviors in order for you to get the best results based on a new paradigm shift. So your mindset controls and dictates your personal reality. Now, I have to ask you this question. How would you feel if you had total control over every aspect of your life? Now, but I want you to think about it from this perspective. Why don't you have total control over every aspect of your life? No matter where you're professionally, no matter how long your tenure has been at a specific place of employment, and no matter where you are right now, why don't you have total control? Well, it's because, once again, working hard is not the personal reality because many of you listening to me right now, you work extremely hard. You've done everything society has instructed you to do to become financially successful. But when you grab an eyes and grab that monthly bank statement, is it truly reflective of the hard work that you put in, the educational pursuits that you've endured? And guess what? So now it's the vehicle, not you as the hard worker. So we're going to put you in the right vehicle and we're going to accelerate that process so that you and your family, your church community, everything about you now has legacy written on it. Now, what's your legacy? So guess what, ladies and gentlemen? So have you ever heard of the exchange markets? And I'm sure you have, but let me help you understand, from those of you listening, there's nothing wrong with the economy. It's just that you've been fishing in the wrong pond. So guess how many zeros are in a trillion? Well, if you were unaware, there are 12 zeros in a trillion. Now imagine this. You now have the opportunity to participate in a market that offers you, yes, you, $6.6 trillion. And that happens every single day, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. So if you've ever wondered or thought what happens when your personal financial institution closes, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's never closed. It's only closed to the way and the mechanism and our thought process of what we've understood about how money moves. So you can now take advantage of this market without physically owning a tremendous amount of liquidity, because that's one of the biggest misnomers that you and I have been taught. And we've also been taught to believe that it requires a lot of time and due diligence. But yes, there is due diligence required. But listen, we're here to help you get your time back, because there are two schools of thought. And many of us understand this, but we have not had a vehicle or someone to guide us to a different thought process. You and I were taught to have what we call linear income, where we exchange time for dollars, or transactional business. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? If you do not have a residual component in your life, then you're one bankruptcy, you're one paycheck from not being able to have ends meet. So listen to me. My mentors have always told me this. They've said, if you want to be financially successful, you need to make sure you have two things always working with you. Number one, you need to make sure your money's always working for you. And number two, you need to understand how to create profit centers and distribution. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the foreign exchange market. Yes, that's where it all began. So I am Academy. literally has put in place. And this is no different than you and I enroll into our local community college, our state university, or even a trade school. But this information is specific to understanding how to transfer wealth from one generation to generation. So now you have $6.6 trillion to start your crusade with us as we ensure that 2 million families become financially educated and impacted. But ladies and gentlemen, it gets even better. Once again, Academy allows you and I to participate in every sector of finance. Yes, stocks and futures. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? So all of these industries are being combined, and we're just simply allowing you to select how you want to participate in all of these marketplaces. So you're going to get opportunity for your personal travel, pips and trips, for time-based travel, time-based binary options, digital currency. And also, too, you're going to have the opportunity, if you want to set up an e-commerce business, just like Amazon, we're going to lay it out for you step by step, word for word. So now you can become truly empowered no matter what season you are in your life. And it does not matter what information you have or do not have. These academies are designed to take you from pre-K. And if you have some information, we're going to enhance what you already know. We're going to take you from pre-K to postgraduate. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to show you how to have an MBA within your next 6 to 12 months. And yes, when I say MBA, I'm simply stating to help you understand mega bank account. So I know you could get excited about having a mega bank account. So our DCX currency, that's very important because guess what, ladies and gentlemen, we now have an opportunity to understand that we're right in the midst of the evolution of currency. Yes, change is constant, change is constant. So we've gone from the horse and buggy to the automobile. We've gone from Blockbuster to Netflix. We've gone from hotels to Airbnbs. We've gone from taxis to Ubers. And yes, right now, fiat currency is now metamorphosizing into digital currency. So why are we so excited? Because of this movement, we've had the opportunity to make sure that if many of you missed out on the beginning, and some of you had the opportunity to hear about Bitcoin when it was a foreign thought, but now, guess what? Cycle has repeated itself. So it's becoming a form of global payments for everyday purchases. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not involved in the digital currency market, you are doing yourself and your family, your place of fellowship, a tremendous disservice. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the global form, the global payments. And you can take advantage of this market, once again, without having a tremendous amount of physical liquidity in order to take advantage of. So why I'm excited? Because we've been given the fortunate privilege not only to educate people with this information, but we have now had the opportunity to release our own digital currency. Yes, Kingdom Currency. And it's the world's first globally social conscious token. And why am I excited about that? Because I've been able to assemble an amazing group of people. When I say experts of experts in their field, and we've come together and we've linked arms to make sure your family can ride this wave with us as we go from a $3 trillion a day market upwards to $40 trillion. So yes, combining with the $6.6 trillion and now the evolution of digital currency adds an additional $3 trillion currently, and over the next 60 months is projected to go to a $40 trillion. Why Kingdom Currency? Well, I'm glad you asked that question because once again, our token has a true purpose behind it. Our token, when you purchase Kingdom Currency at 6.5 cents at its current state, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Not only are you have the opportunity to do good for yourself, but you're going to do good for some entities that may be near and dear to many of your hearts. One, I'm an HBCU graduate, so our Kingdom token, 15% of our proceeds will always go to ensure that HBCUs are permanently funded. Yes, we're excited about it. Not only we're talking about being philanthropists, but we're putting the work in the beginning to include entities such as that have been near and dear to our hearts. Also, ministries and church finance and not-for-profits. Here's what I know about ministries and church financing, ladies and gentlemen, because I've been in this space for over 25 plus years. Financial institutions have no issue with taking tithe and offering from many ministries, but when it comes to extending the work, the first thing that they're going to tell a ministry leader is your tithe and offering does not allow us to add loans to your portfolio. So guess what? We made it our purpose and our business to ensure that that does not happen. And then our veterans, for those of you in the United States specifically, we have so many perks and freedoms, and our soldiers have given their lives for us to have the perks and freedoms. And when they transition back to civilian life, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They're not have the opportunity that they previously had. So we want to make sure that we fill that gap as well. And then with the evolution of the green energy space, we're going to be the forerunner to ensure that communities that are normally left out of industries as they're expanding, we're going to once again be that bridge that culminates and takes advantage of that. So once again, it is all housed in the educational platform. You get an opportunity once again to, as you're traveling around the world, you're going to be able to trade, you're going to be able to take trips for your personal leisure. So pips and trips is the order of the day. This is an educational lifestyle with travel and lifestyle discount events around the world. So you're going to have the opportunity to travel around the world. And as a matter of fact, one of the benefits when you enroll in the academy with the Be Your Own Bank movement, guess what? We're going to make sure that you get a 4-night getaway to Vegas on us. Yes, we're going to give you a voucher. You redeem the voucher. And when you show up to Vegas, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Only thing you're going to be responsible for is your room and taxes. So we're incentivizing you to go to work for your family in the very beginning. So we're excited about having that. Yes. And if you've ever wanted to know anything about the market, whether it's stocks and futures, foreign exchange, digital currency, once again, we're putting the information in your hands. And then we're putting you in a position where you can be responsible for personally writing your financial narrative that's going to leave a legacy for generation to generation. Because if you're honest with yourself, the things that you know about money was passed down from you. You have to ask yourself the question, is it the best information? And if there's better information, should you and wouldn't you want to take advantage of it? Absolutely. So you're going to learn and earn on the go. How do you accomplish that? Once again, you dive into the academy, and then you're going to have access to tools. And when I say tools, I'm talking about tools that the big banks of the world utilize. The big banks of the world utilize. And when I say big banks, I'm talking about the Morgan Stanleys of the world. I'm talking about the Merrill Lynches of the world. I'm talking about the Barclays of the world. I'm talking about the Deutsche Banks of the world. Now, one of these tools specifically is a tool called the vibrato. You're going to be able to utilize this tool as you're learning from the academy. We're going to not only take what you learned from the academy, but we're putting the right tools in your hand that's going to put you in a position to operate like the big banks of the world. So why are we so excited about the vibrato? Well, one of the things is because an educated trader is a profitable trader. Now, this tool, the vibrato, yours truly, myself, Gerald D. Rogers, happens to be the spokesperson for this amazing tool that when people log into this tool, I'm the first face that they get an opportunity to see. But not only that, because of the mind of Miss Tasha M. Dyer, the trade whisperer, she was able, God-breathed strategy to pull it together. And it's also copywritten strategy that God gave her that boasts of an accuracy rate of 92%. And in some instances, it's even higher. So our youngest student, as young as 8, and our most mature student is young as 87 years of age. So for those of you listening, you're without excuse because I know you fall within any of those ranges. So whatever your misunderstanding may be about the market, we know our educational system will help you and put you in a position to win. So yes, I've already made mention of myself and Ms. Dyer, but it only began with us, right? And any movement that is not transferred to the next generation and generation, it is destined to wither. But because our hearts is about economic empowerment, we've already replaced ourselves with additional educators, okay? And we have some amazing educators that are here to help you understand. So all you have to do is be willing to let us teach you and guide you through this path. So we do 40 plus Zoom calls per month. So as you're diving into the academy on your own leisure time, we actually come into a collective group with educators, and their only sincere desire is to assist you to accelerate your learning process and help you become more successful than they are. And we have some amazing individuals around the world. And every third Saturday of each month, every third weekend of each month, we actually take our high-tech approach, and we make it very personal with our high touch. So this coming month alone, one event in 7 different locations. So the UK, South Florida, the Netherlands, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Jacksonville, and Detroit. And if you do not see your city represented here, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We are coming to a city near you. So guess what? We're talking about Kingdom Legacy. So this movement has been around for 4.5 years, but we've added additional things to ensure that when you connect with us, guess what? We're going to facilitate and help you understand. Our responsibility is to teach you how to make money, then we show you what to do with it, and then we show you how to protect it. So yes, BYOB Publishing, for those of you who have the desire to put your heartbeat in print, we can help you facilitate that. We also have a global broadcast. For some of you listening right now, you're going to have the opportunity to be a guest on our global broadcast. We have our own theme song. So ladies and gentlemen, anything pertaining to financial success, that is the order of the day. In order to stay in tune and in touch with us, you're going to be able to download our mobile app. BYOB University is in the process of being launched. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, not only do we have the expertise, but other entities, which you're most familiar with, as MasterCard, have given us the opportunity to partner with them where we actually have our own branded being paid card. So ladies and gentlemen, that's what we call a clue. So we've already been documented. So for those of you who like to do research, the research has already been done. And not only that, like I said, we're going to teach you how to make the money, and then we're going to show you what to do with it. So for those of you who have a desire to achieve and grow into the real estate arena, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We now have the ability, for those of you who have the desire to become a licensed realtor, we can facilitate that in all 50 states here in the United States. And then guess what? We want to make sure you're whole in its entirety. So we're going to show you how to enhance your credit scores. We're going to show you how to build business and professional credit. So once again, anything synonymous with your financial legacy, guess what? That's what the Be Your Own Bank movement is all about. So I know you've heard some amazing information, and you would have to agree with me that this information just simply makes sense. So once again, we're not here to convince any of you of anything, right? Because we're just simply showing you that this vehicle is documented, it's credible, and the individual who shared this information with you, they just want you to participate alongside with us. So I'm ready. I know you're ready. And you've always asked yourself, if you could legitimately find the right people, the right coaching, and the right mentorship, I know something in the inside of your heart right now is really resonating with this, right? And then you've always wanted to be connected to someone who's sincere about your success. Notice what I said, it's about your success, because the movement is and will continue to expand. The reality is, and the question is, 2 million families will be financially educated and impacted. Now, the question that you must ask yourself tonight is, do I want to be one? And then secondly, how many do I want to assist? Because once again, this information has been hidden in plain sight far too long. So this process is really simple. Yes, you're going to enroll in the academy. And how do you do that? Well, you're going to make a personal investment to do and to decide which academy you want to participate in. But we've made it very simple and easy. Yes. So your investment into yourself, not the person that invited you out, not the person who shared the information. This is about you and your family. So I want you to be very selfish and understand that if you have a bank account, you're already involved in this industry. You're just on the wrong side of the equation. So that investment is simply $297. Yes. And then to maintain access to all the tools, the coaching, and the mentorship, you're simply talking about $275 a month to maintain access to this information. Why is that so important? Because many of us have exhausted our resources to attend those undergraduate schools, those postgraduate schools, and to this very day, we find ourselves with a debt load, and the rate of return simply has not panned out. So we've made it our business to ensure that anyone who's willing to listen, then we're going to guide them and put them and their family on the other side of the money. Now, remember I said to you in the very beginning, my mentors have taught me this. They said in order for you to become financially successful, you need to make sure that your money's always working for you. So that's why we're putting the information and the tools in your hands. So that's the first component. And then the second component It's simply understanding that no matter how hard you work, if you're the individual doing all the work, if you're the individual that's working 40 to 80 hours a week, you're never going to produce the overall return if you are the only person. So you have to include profit center and distribution channels a part of your daily regimen. Why? J. Paul Getty said it best. He said, I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts versus 100% of my own. And why did he understand it? Because he understood if he didn't show up, 99% of the work still gets done. Now ask yourself the question. If it happens to you, and we all experienced it in the midst of a pandemic, for all of us who thought we had job security when the economy shut down, what happened to your revenue? But for us who had this skill set, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We did not miss a beat. So 𝐼M Academy has made it easy for you to want to expose and share this information with your friend, your neighbor, and your relative. Now, I just ask you this question. Does this information make sense? Yes, it does. This is something that you know would be a tremendous benefit and asset to your life. Yes. And if you have friends, neighbors, or relatives who are completely unaware of this information, would they want to hear from you? Yes. That's how simple it is to infuse yourself into our crusade along with us as we once again ensure that 2 million families are financially educated and impacted. So you have the option to be, and this is optional. This is not anything you have to do, but why would you hoard this valuable information to yourself and not share with your friends, neighbors, and relatives? Because their life can be changed. And here's the wonderful thing about it. We're not asking you to teach anything because we have that covered for you. All you have to do is be willing to share the information with your friend, neighbor, and relative. And someone like myself will help you do the heavy lifting and point people in the right direction. And by doing that, you decide to become an independent business owner with 𝐼M Academy. And when your friend, neighbor, and relative enroll into the academy, you're going to get a one-time referral of $25. Yes, $25 every time someone decides that they want to put themselves and their family on the other side of money. And you can do that once. You can do that once a day, once a week, once an hour. It does not matter. Each and every time someone says, you know what, I want to be my own bank, guess what? That happens. And then here's the other beautiful part about why this is so important, because residual income. So when your friend, neighbor, and relative maintain their monthly subscription, guess what happens? You're going to now benefit anywhere from $150 upwards to $750,000 per month. And yes, this is paid out weekly. Why would you want to do that? Because we do it every single day. We're always making referrals to our friend, neighbors, and relatives. But when you refer this quality of information about the Be Your Own Bank movement, then now you get an opportunity to take that residual income, and now you have the ability to fund your trading account and every other business venture that you desire to launch, because now you are your own funding source. So no longer are you restricted based on the value that people see in your dreams, your ideas, and your concepts. You're now in a position to take total control over every aspect of your life. So I mentioned a number, 297 and 275. So if anyone under the sound of my voice has any challenge and you're working 40 to 60 hours a week, then here's what I need you to understand. And this is very sobering for you. The reality is, no one listening to my voice will ever be able to tell Gerald D. Rogers that your family is not worth you investing $9.16 a day to learn the skill set, to be coached and mentored by individuals who've already done it, and your family is worth it. So there's no way any of you can walk away from this conversation and say, I don't have the resources, because it's never about the money. It's all about what you and I find value in. And I find it simply amazing as we're embarking upon one of the most festive times of the year, Christmas. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We've made it our business to make sure that our kids have PlayStations, Xboxes, iPhones, big screen TVs. And those of you who say you have to think about it, you have to have a family meeting, I've never seen anyone have a family meeting when it comes to purchasing a Michael Kors purse. I've never seen anyone have a family meeting when it comes to ensuring that they get an opportunity to go to their favorite sports events. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm challenging you not to let that be your thought process any longer, because your family legacy is at stake. And then how do I know you're going to be successful? Because you're going to plug into 100% of the information through our systematic approach. So once again, there's nothing required other than you to be present. And the more you're present, the more you're plugged in, the larger your process of the economy comes into your household. So we have 100% documented success. And over the next 30 to 45 days, when you make that commitment to yourself tonight, we know what the results will be. And then I'll leave you with this, because I asked you a question at the very beginning. How much is your bank paying you for using your money? So listen to me well. These entities, many of you may be familiar with. So the very skill set that you're going to learn for yourself, your financial institution actually hires individuals to do exactly what you're going to learn how to do with your own money. And that ranges anywhere from $100,000 upwards to $307,000. Once again, that should elicit a thought in your mind. If your bank understands that trading your money is important, how much more important should it be to you? Absolutely. So if any of you walk away from this conversation tonight and said, I'm not interested in multiplying my own money, then guess what? That means you're perfectly fine with knowing that your bank is doing the exact same thing, and you refuse to accept the challenge to learn how to be your own bank. And I know that's not the case because you're too intelligent to continue allowing your financial institution to get the benefit of your own money. So folks, we've made it real simple and easy. And I'm gonna tell you how simple and easy it is. The decision tonight that you will make, it's going to be yes to yourself. It's going to be yes to your future generations, because now you have an opportunity to erase your past and remember your future. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, the Be Your Own Bank movement, 2 million families financially educated and impacted. So ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate each and every one of you for joining us tonight. And I'd like to extend an additional invitation for you to join us at 9 p.m. Eastern, so you can actually see the tools demonstrated. You can understand the support that you're going to gain. And just be mindful, a lot of the terminology you're not going to be familiar with. That's okay. But I want you to be present to appreciate the heart, the mind, and the spirit in which we operate in excellence, so that your family can now bridge that financial gap, so that your place of fellowship can be completely and totally different, your personal household as well as your community. Because no longer can you wait for someone else to do it. That assignment has been assigned to you. So be bold, be different, be courageous, because you deserve everything that's been given to you. Now, we're just here to unleash, unlock, and point you in the right direction. So ladies and gentlemen, get back with the individual that invited you out and tell them, yes, I accept the challenge to learn how to be my own bank. Now, I'm willing to commit the next 12 months to learn this skill set so that I can pay it forward for generations and generations to come. So ladies and gentlemen, we're absolutely excited, and we will get an opportunity to see you on the beaches around the world. So get back with the individual that invited you out, tell them yes, and they're going to be able to walk you through the next step in the process so that you can engage immediately and now be your own bank. So God bless. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you back again on the same Zoom line that you're on right now at 9 p.m. Eastern, and you will absolutely be in for a treat. God bless. Have a wonderful evening, and this will officially conclude this call.